Captain West, on behalf of Mayor Moya, I would like to welcome you to the promotional ceremony and appointment for Assistant Chief Sarah J. Mooney as the Chief of Police of the West Palm Beach Police Department. Please stand for the posting of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance to follow.
Left turn. March. Detail. Halt. Raise that. March.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. March. Right turn. March. Forward. March.
We'll have our invocation by Reverend Kevin Jones, also out of the mayor's office.
Good morning. Good morning. Let us pray. Gracious God, once again, we enter your divine presence. God, just first thanking you. Thanking you for another day that you've made, that you've allowed us to rejoice and to be glad in it. We thank you for all of those that are gathered here on this day. And we're grateful for this transition of leadership where Mrs. Sarah Mooney will now become our chief. Before we go any further, we just once again want to acknowledge you and invite your presence to come here and bless all that is said and done in your name. And God, even now we ask that you just continue to bless Chief Mooney. God, we know that she's prepared and now she needs your wisdom. Unlike any other time in our history, the relationship between law enforcement and community is an important one. And we just pray that you will give her clarity, that you will give her strength, that you will give her courage, God, and that you will continue to keep in her heart the willingness and the desire to engage with all the communities here in West Palm Beach. And that she will always remember that she is first a servant. And God, we know that if she remembered these characteristics and these qualities, command staff and those that are behind her will follow her lead. So we're going to thank you in advance for what will happen in the city of West Palm Beach as she takes over this most important department. So we love you and we thank you. And may all the people of God who love God say amen. 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 Thank you.
Now we'll have comments by Mayor Moya.
Thank you, Captain West. Well, it's so wonderful to see so many people here today to celebrate and honor Sarah as we swear her in as our new police chief. As mayor, I have to tell you, I am so honored to have been able to appoint her to this position. In many ways, I've been watching her over the last few years as she's been assistant chief, and I know she is up for the job, and I know that she will do a great job. You know, when I first became mayor, I sort of sat in my office and said, okay, now what? You know, when you're mayor, you don't exactly have a job, you have all the jobs. And I think, Sarah, you'll find this, as police chief, you don't exactly have a responsibility, but you're responsible for everything. And so as I was thinking about it, it came clear to me that my job, and Sarah, this will be your job, it was to make sure that the people who work for me have an environment that helps them to do their job in the very best way that they can do it. So as leaders, our job is to make sure that the people who work for us can do their job. And that's what I'm sure you'll be thinking about as you move into this position. I'd also like to say that we have been talking in our city a lot about servant leadership, and I was so happy to hear Reverend Jones talk about serving the community. And as you come into this position, I ask you to remember the importance of servant leadership, and that we are all here in the city of West Palm Beach to serve the community. We also have been talking a lot about the power of why and how important it is to have clarity of purpose. Why do we do what we do? Some of the most successful businesses and corporations are very clear about their why. So what is our why in the city? And I would say to you that our why is to make this city the best city, the city that people want to live in and work in and play in. And most of us in this room love being in West Palm Beach, and we want everybody else to love being in West Palm Beach. So our why is to make everybody love being here. And that means working really hard to get the job done and to serve the people. I also found something today that I thought I might share with you, and it talks about some 10 qualities of effective leaders. The first one is self-reflection and how important it is to really take time each day to think about what you've done, how did it work, what didn't work, how could I do it differently, how could I be different in my approach. And that goes along with self-awareness, understanding yourself. What are your strengths and weaknesses? What can you bring to this position that's going to enhance it and make it even better? Importantly, with your husband and your daughter, self-care. Take care of yourself, take care of your family. Continue to learn. There's always more for us to know and be able to do, so continue to learn. One of the real keys to leadership success is listening and being able to connect with people, and I think you do that really well. And another, as I said earlier, is clarity of purpose. Be clear about your why. Be clear about why you're here, why you've chosen to serve, and be able to focus. And also don't forget gratitude. Be thankful and grateful for everything that we have and that we're able to do here in the city of West Palm Beach. So welcome, Sarah. Welcome to the Girls Club. We are so happy.
All right, now we'll have the oath of office by Hazel Carson, our city clerk. And Chief Mooney will be pinned by her husband, retired Sergeant Bob Mooney, and her daughter.
Hi, Hazel. I'm usually on this side with you.
I know. All right, you want to stand close to the mic? Raise your right hand. I, Sarah J. Mooney,
I, Sarah J. Mooney,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend
that I will support and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and of the state of
and
Florida,
of the state of Florida,
that I am duly qualified
that I am duly qualified
to hold the office that I'm about to assume,
to hold the office that I'm about to assume,
and that I will observe the provisions
and I will observe the provisions
of the Charter,
of the Charter,
ordinances, and regulations
ordinances, and
of
regulations
the city of West Palm Beach,
of the city of West Palm Beach,
and will faithfully discharge
and will faithfully discharge
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of Chief of Police.
of Chief of Police.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Good morning. Huge crowd. Thank you all for coming this morning. I want to thank everybody that came out to support me in this new role. It's a great honor to have the opportunity to be the next leader of this agency. I'm looking forward to being responsible for ensuring that the next phase of this department continues in the history that it has in the past. As we move towards unprecedented growth in the city of West Palm Beach, it's my honor to be able to be the one that's going to be in charge of us as we go forward here. I want to thank the mayor for selecting me for this position, and also the commission for supporting her appointment. I think that the relatively quick decision in the transition will allow our agency to not skip a beat as we move forward into the next chapter of our history. There's so many people here today that have been instrumental in my career, and the room's full. Obviously, I'm not even going to try, Tamika, to name them. I was going to have a sign-in sheet. I don't think we had enough paper, so thank you all for being here. And if we missed any of the dignitaries, as far as I'm concerned, you're all dignitaries, so thank you for coming here, and I recognize you all for being here to support us. Whether it's family and friends or coworkers or the governmental and community partners who are out here this morning, I want to let you all know that your support is the reason that I have this opportunity. Especially Bob, and she's very excited she got to skip school today, so that's one of the reasons. It's awesome that it works. My siblings are in town also, which is phenomenal. Mary came out from Colorado. This is the first promotion she saw. It's probably going to be the last promotion she sees. My brother Pat and his wife Lynn and their daughter Kristen are in town from Orlando. They're at the first promotion for me too, but I'm so glad that they were able to make it. And my brother Tim, who lives up in Hope Sound, so he comes to everything. He doesn't miss a party. So I like to thank you guys for being here, and especially my mom, who's up in the front row too. She's kind of the commander of the family, so she obviously hasn't missed anything. I also want to thank our now retired Chief Brian Cumberland for his leadership and guidance over the years. He put together a great team for this agency, and fortunately, I'm going to get to keep most of them as we move forward, but I'm going to lose a couple of them too to retirements. We've already lost one. Dave Bernhardt was our social coordinator as the captain here. I know he's here because he too, like my brother, does not miss a party, so it's good. Thank you, Dave, for everything that you did. Tamika went and introduced everybody, but I want them all to stand up again, and you guys give them a round of applause, as this is our team that runs this agency. It's not just me, so stand up again. I'm excited to have the opportunity to build upon the many initiatives that Chief Cumberland started here at the department while he was in command. He's been a front runner in the county for a number of years, but he kind of likes to fly under the radar. Now, every so often, he'll hit me with a text that will remind me that he's retired already. I think it's been like maybe 24 hours, and I expect to see him. I'm so glad I'm retired, and I'm glad it's you, not me, and that kind of thing. But he's been very supportive. And especially, he's been a front runner in regards to preparing everybody here to move forward in police work. In this day and age, people are very prompted to question the motives of police officers and what we do day in and day out without really understanding what we do. They also like to offer their suggestions on how we can do things better. It's not always realistic, but we are here to listen, and he's been a good role model in regard to listening to people. Chief Cumberland also took a proactive approach when it comes to some of the things that we face in law enforcement nowadays. He's tried to make sure that we're the best equipped, the best trained, and the best intentioned agency in the county, if not in the state. Chief Cumberland instituted a department-wide body-worn camera program before anybody else in the county really had the guts to try to go forward with it. He teamed with FAU researchers, in fact, to follow our program to see how it impacts our agency and what we do day in and day out. And that's tremendous. We're not scared to let you know what we're doing, and we want you to see what we're doing, and we trust that what we're doing is correct. And if it's not, then we'll make corrections as we go. But that was probably the biggest impact that he's had on this agency, and I think it's been tremendous for the reputation of the department to show that we are really very transparent and that we're here for you. He also brought new training opportunities to the agency to ensure the officers are current on issues that some agencies have never even heard of, like impartial policing, de-escalation training, procedural justice, and diversion programs. Under Chief Cumberland's leadership, our personnel have formed many new partnerships within the community, which is the key to having a successful police department. And looking around the room, it's obvious we've built tremendous partnerships. We've got people from all over the place in here today, and it's testament to what our agency stands for. Right now, we've got some lawmakers in the room. We've got a lot of law enforcers in the room. We have a lot of people that help us to interpret the law when we try to take advantage of doing the things we need to do. This part of the family group may be some of the lawbreakers in the room, but I invited them, so they get out of jail free cards today, just today until about 11:20. This job is something that does not require an individual leader to be able to lead an agency. It's a job that requires a village of supporters to make the agency work. My success, as well as the department's success, is dependent on the support of everybody in this room. The community advocates, the faith leaders, elected officials, and especially the personnel that work here. and make up the police department. Whether you're sworn or civilian, everything you do day in and day out is very important. I was thinking long and hard about what am I going to talk about today. So I've got two parts to the speech. This is my second part. I changed my topic about 15 times between the day the mayor said, hey, we want you to be the next chief, and today. Well, actually this morning I finished typing, I think, at about 10:45. But I wanted to make a sports analogy for you. And some people in here, I would say most people in here at some point in time have been in some sort of sporting event or team. I grew up as a swimmer. And when I was younger, I was maybe 7-ish. I can remember going up to the North Palm Beach Country Club with my dad to watch my sister try out for the swim team. And the coach kind of told her, get in and do 100 IM. For those of you that don't know that, you've got to do a combination of all 4 strokes. And I watched, and I was happy. And then the coach looked at me and he said, well, you're next. I wasn't there for that, but I'm not one to pass up an opportunity. So I jumped in. I wasn't very proficient at all 4 strokes, but I did my darndest to see if I could make the team too. And then when we got home, I can remember my mom kind of looking at me cross-eyed because I was yelling about how I made the team, and Mary was walking in behind me. She made it too, obviously. She was much better than I was. And my mom's kind of like, well, how does that? And then she just kind of shook her head and said, never mind. I just know if there was an opportunity, you took it, and great, move on. Now you're part of it. Now, back in the day when people weren't worried about being 100% politically correct in how they labeled things, our swim teams were they were named after just letters of the alphabet. So you were either on the A, B, C, D, or E team. We never got to the F team. They did become politically correct because by the time they had enough kids to have an F team, they started using colors instead of letters, because I don't think to be on the F team would be very exciting. Anyway, long story short, I think Mary made the C team. She started out on the C team right in the middle. She's, like I said, more advanced than I was on it. I made the E team, which is the lowest level. Boy, you're probably doggy paddling across the pool, but I was so excited because I was part of the team, so I'm happy about that. I'm good. And it was a starting point for what I would do in my future swimming career, which ended up being something that was very important to me. My start in swimming reminds me of the day I started working here at the police department. I came in as a member of the E team, right at the bottom level, baby, dog paddling around the police department. But I couldn't have been happier because I was on the team, and that was very important. I had a starting point, and I was here, and I was accepted, and it was something that was an opportunity. Over the years, I put in a lot of hours in the pool. It took dedication and enthusiasm to stay motivated. But as I grew up, I got better, and I gradually moved through the ranks of the swim teams. By the time I was in high school, I made the A team. That's where all the big cool kids were, because they're the ones that had kind of gone through all the hoops of getting to where they need to be. And those were the ones that the little kids looked up to. All the kids that were on the A team with me went through the same trials and tribulations that you would during your formative years, and it was very impactful to me. We had successes and failures together. We spent more time together than we did with our families. We missed out on a lot of stuff because we spent a lot of time at the pool practicing. We spent long weekends at swim meets when other kids were out playing or sleeping in. We had to wake up early, go to bed late, just so we could fit everything in. I missed out on some things, but the long-term benefits outweigh on anything that I missed. I have lifelong friends who share similar memories that only swimmers could imagine and only swimmers could relate to. A swimming career is a lot like a career in police work. When you start, you have an enthusiasm that's difficult to describe. You instantly become a member of a team. You have another family. And no, we don't always get along. But at the end of the day, we're all like-minded individuals working towards the same end results. It gets a bit monotonous at times, but the training and experience we get prepares us for the moments that only another officer could understand. And we have the best stories, by far. Police officers have the best stories. By the end of your first year, I think everybody has enough material to write a book. And I think every single one of us has said, oh, you can't write this stuff. So we don't. We always just talk about it, but we probably have enough material to write a book. It's funny because everybody in this room that has touched my career at all, I have a story for you. I'm not going to tell them all today because there's way too many, and Tamika didn't get the sign-in sheet done, so I can't give you all the stories. But it's ironic. I was driving out of the police department on Friday afternoon to go pick up one of my swimming buddies from college who came in town from Kansas City just to see this promotional ceremony. She too, first one that she's come to. She said, if you ever make Grand Poobah, I'm coming. I said, so I'm there. So Julie, thank you for coming in from Kansas City. I appreciate it. But as I was driving out, there was this older guy walking on Spine Road. That's where we park our cars out back. And it was John Turner. Well, John Turner, 22 years ago, was one of my field training officers. Haven't seen John in quite a while. And when he saw me, it was kind of like one of those stories pops into your head. So every time I see John, I think of the nickname he gave me. Back in the day, late 80s, early 90s, there was a show called Doogie Howser, MD. The scary part is there's so many people that are probably even in this room and have been hired recently that weren't alive when Doogie Howser, MD was on. And when I thought about it, I was like, oh my goodness. If I use the analogy, maybe half of them would just go by the wayside. That's good. So anyway, John nicknamed me Doogie because he just thought that was kind of cool. My maiden name was Dewar, so why not? You got to get a nickname when you come into police work. It's not the nickname that's important. It's important that you have the memory of the nickname and the experiences that you had with people from 22 years ago when you started, and that's what pops into my head when I see John Turner. There's a lot of people here in this room. You heard Tamika trying to name all the retired people that we have here. Every single one of you has made an impact. Those of you that work here now has made a tremendous impact also in what I've become at this point and this opportunity that I have. I wish I could personally thank all of you. I'll have to do it as a group because I'm going to miss somebody and they'll be offended. So sorry, I'm starting out there. It's hard to explain how important swimming was for me growing up. And it's more difficult to explain how important it is for me to be an impactful leader at this department. I want the new officers coming in to look at our A team that's up here, Tamika, as a group of leaders to emulate. That should be the goal. When you come in at the bottom, you want to work your way up to the top and be at the top of the hill when you go out. My swimming career ended a long time ago, but it's still impactful to me. I have several years to go in my police career, hopefully. But I hope when it's all over that it will be something that people still talk about for years to come, the impact that I made here. So I thank you all for coming. Thank you for this opportunity. I won't disappoint. Thanks.
And this is from all the ladies of West Palm Beach. And today is your crowning day.
Thank you. I forgot to mention that when we talk about the ladies of West Palm Beach, yeah, we are taking over, Mayor, thank you. But no, I just wanted to recognize Delsa Bush is here today. She was the first female police chief in Palm Beach County. I'm the second. That tells you what West Palm Beach is all about. It's a testament to the personnel here, not just in the police department, but citywide, that there's opportunities for people that care about this city, that care about the people that live and work here, and they're given opportunities. And I thank you for this opportunity, Mayor. Chief Bush, back there, I know you're hiding now. Thank you for breaking the ceiling for us. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.